Oh, give me 2 seconds. Can you stop the recording or no? All right. Okay, welcome to our Team Voyage in Rural Roots Monday night team meeting. We were going to do a wrap-up of conference. So there was a few more of us there this time than last time. It seems like it just keeps growing, which is awesome. So this conference, the JP Live, was in Indianapolis, and it was probably, like, for myself, one of the best ones that I have been to. I don't know if I'm just like getting it more now or what, but the speakers and the takeaways that I got from this one were pretty exciting. And so I was just going to go through. I was going to just go through a few of my notes, kind of some of the speakers that were there. I need to be more organized. I don't have the actual schedule with me. I just have my own notes. So we'll kind of go through what they covered and then go from there. So I'll just get into it. I will say the next conference is in Phoenix, Arizona, and it's April 26th to 28th. So if you can at all start planning to go there, it only takes about 3 fast track BFs within your team. The bonus money from 3 fast track BFs who are frontline downline to you will give you the money to pay for your own conference ticket, the room, the flight, everything. That should cover everything. So if you start planning now and start working on it now, then you can always save for the next conference in Phoenix. It's definitely worth a go. Kate was saying, and she noticed, and I noticed too, it seems like the people who go to conference are the ones who keep carrying their businesses forward, whereas the people who have never gone to conference are quite often the people that end up giving up their business before it's been able to reach its potential. So definitely worth it on the business side of it and also on the fun side of it. We had lots of fun too. So at the end, if we have some time, we'll talk about some of the fun we got to have. So first of all, a couple of the bigger announcements as far as products go. They're still working on the Omega rollout in Canada. We're actually one of the last areas in this regard, which is, I guess it's just testing our patience. It should be coming here within the next couple months, so we're all looking forward to that. But the rollouts in other countries, so in Europe, in the United States, Australia, have been going very well, and they're studying the research on that too. So I'm really looking forward to what they find from their Omega blend research. And so if you don't know too much about the Omegas, they're starting to get some more information out there about them now. But they're vegan source Omega. They're made from 6 or 7 different ingredients to make the Omega blend, the 3, 5, 6, 7, and 9. And so they're actually a very unique product, which is why the rollout in Canada is taking so long, because they actually have to tell Health Canada, like the Food and Drug Association of Canada, give them notes on how to test the product to make sure that what's on the label is actually in the product, things like that. So they're actually breaking new ground with this, which is why it's taking a little bit of time, but it's still exciting. It's going to be a one-of-a-kind product. So that's kind of coming down the pipe. It was an exciting conference for Tower Garden. So first of all, they have new extensions that they made for the Tower Garden, and so these new extension kits are actually going to have a bunch more holes. It'll be more suited toward like starting smaller lettuces or smaller seeds to transplant, or also to make it an herb garden. So I think it's like 16 spaces. Somebody can correct me, but like 16 spaces throughout the one extension kit. So that's really cool. It looks kind of neat. I think that's going to be a really good addition to people's homes. And also Tower Garden lights. So they've actually come out with LED set lights now, which is very exciting. And so it looks kind of cool. It looks like it's almost like a hat that goes on top of the Tower Garden, and the timer and everything is just right on there. So you're not having all the cords and everything pooling around the bottom of the Tower Garden, which I think is going to be really great. Just a really great safety feature. It's going to make it a lot easier to work with. And then the lights actually kind of hang down over like antennas. I don't know, there's pictures posted of it, but I think that's really cool because it's going to be so much better suited toward schools and long-term care centers, as well as even just in your own home. It's going to be a lot cleaner, and then the LEDs are going to be a lot more efficient as well. They suggested that they would be able to run for 5 years nonstop before they started to go dead. So that's pretty good. And they've done a lot. I noticed that this one they did a lot of shred updates. Now I wasn't the best for taking notes for the shred updates, but I did buy some of the resources. So now they actually have like physical packs, and I got one in the store where you actually have your shred manual, all your resources, and then they're actually putting out paper copies of the recipe books, the shred recipe books now too. So I bought a few of those that I can kind of hand out, and just a good present if you have or if you have customers that are doing their shreds quite often, then it might be a good gift for them. But the materials and resources are constantly being updated. They've updated their website again, and they have a lot more resources on there too, of like videos like Dr. Mitra Ray and I think Dr. Du Bois is on there. They're on there talking about diet, nutrition, things like that. So those are some of the new things. I'll get somebody else to update on the shred after. They did go, so for the breakouts on Thursday, they went through, they did a really good, powerful session on three-way calls. And this was a good one for me to go to because I'm one who shies away from the three-way calls quite often. And so, but they said, I like that they kind of put it into more perspective. Picking up the phone is one of the easiest ways. It's one of the quickest ways for a lot of people. It's most accessible. But also they said a coffee date, Voxer, Zoom, and also events can all kind of be classified as that three-way call. Anytime you're kind of getting two representatives together with one or more prospects can be considered a three-way call. So don't let the whole three-way phone call thing bug you out. And basically they are saying, so this is getting a lot of attention not only from our own team, that's how a lot of our own upline NMDs have built their businesses, but also from the whole business throughout. And so they really did a big push on these three-way calls when we started doing our Brave Leaders projects, and they've just been going crazy from there. And a lot of people are starting to kind of adjust the format that they use the three-way calls and using them more within just a team structure, not just for prospects. And so basically, I don't know, it's a good way to kind of they put it as gift people with knowledge, lending support, direction, and guidance. You could also use it for congratulating, inviting team, or even just simply thanking your customers, things like that. And even if you just phone the two of you to thank a customer, they say that it really, I don't know, it kind of throws a sense of community out there. So it's kind of like saying that we have a fun and exciting and welcoming community without actually saying, yeah, I'm a part of a fun, welcoming community. So it's kind of a cool way to introduce it that way, because then if you do decide to prospect one of your customers, the whole idea of a three-way call isn't brand new to them. They've already been on one with you, and it was just simply, it was like a 3-minute call to thank you for their business. And so I thought that was kind of a cool idea. And so, yeah, basically they said, so three-way calls are to attract or invite, to launch a business. So that's when 2 uplines are doing it, one downline or a new team member, which I thought was kind of cool too, because quite often I'll do a startup meeting independently with my downline, but we have done them. I have done startup meetings with Kate or with an upline, and it seems to go a lot smoother because one person thinks of things that you don't necessarily. And then the third was to thank team members. They did say the timing, so we need to work on the timing with this, or at least I do. They said that when you start up a new customer, or you're starting up a new team member, they said to catch them when they're in their kind of exciting zone. So the first 72 hours is kind of a key time, because that's when they're excited to get going and they have some ambition there, and that's when you want to catch them. And I know that I've kind of lagged on that. Like, I've signed up my new team member, and then maybe the next week or the week after we'll get together for a startup meeting. And so that's something that kind of cued me, is I need to get going on that quicker when they're all excited, because after that 72-hour time period, then that's when, like, they kind of, I don't know, it seems like they kind of fall back. They run out of that excited period. So, and one thing that one of the speakers said there is, so if you get kind of in your own head about asking about a three-way connection, she just said the person who won't listen to an opportunity for another stream of income is an idiot. She's like, I'm not allowed to say that on stage, but she did anyways. It's kind of funny. So, and then what we had after that, they did talk a lot about working with healthcare. So with people with like healthcare professionals, people with backgrounds in healthcare, and they in the States are doing something known, or that's called a professional support team. That's something that's kind of lost on me. I wasn't sure if we were doing those things or not, or if the same resources were available in Canada. They are. Okay, so basically what they're doing in the States is if you do happen to, and they said to be very careful, like don't be the one person in the office that like walks up and makes an appointment with your doctor just to tell them about Juice Plus. It shouldn't be like that. It should really be a trust relationship. But if you find yourself in a relationship with a healthcare professional who is interested about the products, there are some resources online on our online office, and they're calling it the professional support team. So now they've been there for a while, but they changed the name. And basically, it does give you some ideas about how to approach healthcare professionals.
Mandy?
Yeah?
It's for anyone that's busy, not just healthcare professionals. So it can be for anyone.
Oh, okay. They were talking about like doctors and stuff.
They were, but then they clarified later, it's like anybody you can do this for.
Yeah. Okay. And also I think they did talk about, because there are some extra resources about people who already have their own client base that they're serving, and a client base who could benefit from the products that we are offering. And so, yeah, but okay, so then the whole idea of how they're doing this is you're actually running a business for somebody else. So you're known as a wellness coordinator, and then you guys kind of decide how you help them to run their business. If they're already very busy, they already have a client base, basically you take on their clients for them, and they ask if you can. So they would ask somebody who's already in their clientele if you, as the wellness coordinator, could contact them because they think that this person, prospective customer, would be able to benefit from the products. And so then that's where you would kind of contact them, let them know a little bit about the products, sign them up as a customer underneath the professional that you're working with, and then do the customer care. And so then they talked about a couple of different ways that you could get paid on this. So you could either get $10 on, like paid $10 on each shipment, or 50% of the retail, how you work that out. So there is an outline on how to do that. I won't go too much more into what that's all about, but just know that it's available, and it is kind of a cool system. So if you do have that person just saying, look, I'm just way too busy and I love the products, but I just don't know how to fit it in, this is an option. So you can say, okay, well, I can help you with business for a part of the retail fee, and then you can just refer your customers to me. So that's kind of how that goes. And it was kind of cool. It was kind of interesting. I don't know. I would have to look more into it to see how much I could utilize it, but it was very interesting. And another one of the speakers was, so this is actually into conference now. That was kind of what I got out of the breakouts. Does anybody else have like significant notes about the breakout sessions? I know that they did a lot more on the shred. They did shred during the breakout sessions, and also it had a main part in the conference.
Yeah, they just kind of really went through the shred and how we have those extra resources. And note on all those resources that they're printing too is that those are still all available online. You can print them off yourself and take them staples and get them bound, or just use them online. It's not necessary to have the printouts. They're just kind of cool. I did buy a couple to have sitting out at events so that people can flip through them and see them in case it's something we don't cover with talking. And just another thing on the Wellness Plus, it is super cool. I mean, I say anyone in health industry, like professionals that already have clients where they could refer them and be like, hey, I have this great product that I think that you should take. Do you mind if I have my wellness coordinator call you? And so depending how much work you do for them, because some of them will do most of the work, yours to explain the product. That's where you do like the $10. But maybe you're going to do everything for them. And then that way you're going to want to do the 50%, where you get 50% out of retail sales profit because you're doing all the customer care. Yeah, Drew just put in the chat about the website. The Healthy Revolution was covered during conference, but the Shred 10 actually has its own website now as well. But also they made the website for the Healthy Living Revolution a lot more straightforward. You open it and there's tabs for everything. And same when you go into the Shred 10, when you click those little dot at the bottom, it has tabs for everything, so you're not scrolling through the Shred 10 page trying to find all the resources. There's tabs they streamlined it.
Yeah, lots more workable. That's awesome. Yeah, anybody who did go to conference, make note of your three biggest takeaways, and then we'll do those at the end. Um, okay, so actually getting into conference stuff. So Jonah Berger was one of our first main speakers. He's a really good author, and he's also, I forget how many universities they said that he taught at, or colleges, but smart guy anyways. And one of his latest books out is called Contagious, and so he studies basically how the media and how people cause things to kind of catch fire and get popular and like become popular in a certain area. And I'm actually quite interested in this. I also read The Tipping Point by Malcolm Gladwell a few years ago, which is very similar. So basically, he said there are a few different things that cause something to really gain popularity, and he calls them steps. So social currency, triggers, emotion, public, practical value, and stories. And so he didn't actually go through each and every one of them. They are outlined in his books. I did buy one of them. I found one of his books in the airport. It was kind of random. I'm like, this is the guy that spoke. His picture was on the back. It's kind of neat. So I did buy that. So far, it's interesting. So he spoke mostly about, in the beginning, social currency. So how does your customer look sharing the product? And so it's not so much how we share the message, but how our customers share our message and perceive us and feel about relaying our message to other people. So he's talking about referrals there. And also kind of how we look back to our customers. And so when we're on social media and we're out in the public, we are sharing a message of who we are. And so just thinking about that and just realizing that that is kind of a fluid thing that runs through it's social currency. It goes up, it goes down. And then also, how can we make our customer feel like insiders? And so he said this is a very important part of social currency because anytime somebody feels like they know a little bit of inside information, or they're a little bit smarter, or they can share something with somebody else, they kind of take ownership of that fairly quickly. And he said show don't tell, so that's another cool thing. So showing about your product, really showing what the products can do and the effects of the products, instead of just trying to tell them people what the products can do. He used a really cool commercial of a blender guy. Basically, this guy created a blender, and then in his lab he tried to break it. So he would blend like 2x4s and all sorts of these crazy things, and the marketing team said, well, maybe we should just use that to market. And so he's on social media, and they got him to blend his cell phone, and millions of people logged on because they thought that it was something kind of cool. So something like that, to just try and get something cool to promote yourself a little bit. Also triggers. So what is in your customer space that has them thinking about you on a daily basis? And so then this could be related back to trying to get your customers to take their product regularly, things like that. So he said using triggers in the environment that relate back to you. So his example there was, what do you think about when you think about peanut butter? Jelly. So something like that. And so then he kind of closed out with what are four key questions that we can ask. So who do we want to trigger? When do we want to be thought of? What is around them at that time? So what space are they in? And how do we link them? So how do we link our triggers back to ourselves? And okay, and then Jay Martin spoke. So I only just have a couple of quotes from him. One of them is, there is room at the top, but it will happen before you get to the top. And the other one is, we've all tried to do it alone, but isn't it better to do it with someone else? Out of like 9,000 people, nobody got that joke right away. It's kind of funny. He's like, do I gotta explain this to you? Then everybody started laughing. It was kind of funny. And then after that, my notes kind of dissipate a little bit. But I don't know, I think it kind of, the next day was fuzzy. So does anybody have notes on the next day?
I do.
Okay.
So we did, like I said, the Healthy Revolution. Some cool things there. They're going to come out with a quarterly cookbook for the seasons. The Charity Miles app, if you guys have that app, use it. They're going to be keeping track of who from October to October does the most miles, and Nicole is actually up on that leaderboard. Oh, and there's challenges for the kids on there. They're called Start Strong, so challenges for ages 3 to 11. And they were giving ideas like, wrap them to get your kids a little gift, something a little cheap, obviously not food, and just say, hey, when you complete this challenge, you'll get this present. Most kids like presents. They have videos now, Start Strong YouTube videos for kids, and it's kids, they're really cute. Kids showing kids how to be healthy, and they have a challenge going on right now. Get your kids to do their own video and go onto the Healthy Revolution, onto the Freedom, or on there, and there's a link on there so you can submit your kids' video. And I think they win the Tower Garden is what they were saying. Someone will. And then we had, just talk about goal setting and vision casting, and so when you get a new team member, what you need to do with them. So you need to get them to basically, it's like, make a goal, set their goal, help them create the vision for it, help them get there, get them to do, their startup steps. It was basically just doing our startup meeting. I wrote a lot of notes about it, but it's basically just that you want to make sure you're doing that startup meeting with them. And once you've done your warm circle, the people near you, you need to do the next step is goal. Get out and live. Get out and start meeting people. If your warm circle is gone, get out and start meeting new people. Join groups, take classes, do whatever you need to do, and get out. Something I wrote down. Sorry?
Oh, I was just going to say, so the steps for that part, I have more notes on my phone. I forgot about but the steps for that part were attraction, goal setting, launch meeting, live learning, building a self-qualified business, and growing into leadership.
Yeah, it's pretty much our startups
and
meeting.
Yeah.
The one thing they really talk about, and that I'm trying to get everyone to do too, is the self-qualified business. Try and work towards getting a self-qualified business so that when your team flips to VF, you're not struggling to stay in PV. And the way to get a self-qualified business is you get those 18 trios, and then you do rockstar customer care. And Mandy was talking about the three-way calls before. Use three-way calls with your customers. Get your upline, your sponsor on the phone to do the customer care and ask your customer, how are they doing? Are they taking it? Have they noticed any difference? Get them to ask all those questions. And then at the end of it, if it's going great, they can ask them to join our team and do this journey with us instead of always you. I've done a few of my customer care calls with Sarah, and they went really well. Yeah, and then the steps of that, we're going into leadership and teach duplication. So when you get your team, get them to do what you do so you're not doing it all for them. I took a lot of NMD notes. That I don't know, the NMDs just kind of really hit home with me this time. A lot of them kind of got to QNMD and lost 2 SCs and restarted, and that's exactly what happened to me. So I have a lot of NMD notes just about how they had the exact same kind of struggles as me, and they walked the stage as NMD. And since you're all on here, you read my notes about Mabel Terredo. I'm sure I'm saying her name wrong. But then the last kind of quote I wrote, it wasn't really a quote. It's when you ask people, ask your team, ask business prospects, ask people you meet, if time, money, or skills were no object, what would you do with your life? And and that's what Manny said too, the lady who said, if they're not interested in just hearing, like, it's just to hear it out. And if they're interested in hearing, like, who doesn't want to make a little extra money? And all they have to do is listen to you and then make the decision. And so I'm going to go backwards and just kind of share my kind of top tips, and then maybe Drew and Danielle can, and Nicole. So yeah, that was self-qualified business. Sorry, I was folding pages and unfolding them as Mandy hit them. Jonah Berger said, what he said in the very beginning is, we all think, oh, social media, but social media is only like 7 to 10%. But what generates the most sales is word of mouth. So make sure you're treating those customers like the stars that they are for getting on your product. Something that Catherine Cade said at one of the NMDs, that when you stand on stage as an NMD, you are not the person you were when you started. So if you're still the person you were when you started, you need to be doing some more personal growth to start growing in this business and getting your business growing, which most of us know. We've been doing all these different courses. And anyways, my little note on that is sign up for Sacred Space. That's a massive personal growth weekend, and it's fun personal growth. And that was customer care and timing. Same with Mandy, I had that one. Oh, and just a little one-liner, my last tip is when people ask you, what do you do? Instead of like, oh, I sell fruits and just veggies in a capsule. Something that one of them had said there, I should write names down when I write these things. But anyways, when someone asks her, what do you do? She says, I help people protect their health and well-being and dramatically slow the aging process and secure their financial future. So you have this great sentence that everyone wants to slow aging and secure their financial future. And then that will lead to the questions of like, seriously, what? How do you do that? So Drew, Danielle, Nicole, who wants to go next?
Maybe we'll do one tip because we only got 3 minutes left. But I really want to, okay, Drew's
Danielle,
big tip.
Danielle.
Okay, Danielle.
Okay, so I'm sorry if I repeat anything, but I loved Jonah Berger. He was such an engaging speaker, and I definitely want to read his books. He just talked about how important brand is and how you need to create a trigger, so something that someone associates to you when they think of that thing, it makes them think of you. So it's like you say peanut butter and you automatically think of jelly, and you say rum and you automatically think of Coke. So creating something of trigger that makes that person think of you every time they see it.
Mm-hmm.
And he said, don't be a walking ad. We have to tell stories, and he calls them like Trojan horse stories. So it's a story, but it carries your message just in a small way. And I thought the NMD speeches were amazing, so I highly recommend. I think you can go on and watch them, but they're just so inspiring and uplifting, and I highly recommend going to conference because it just gives you that drive, and it's so amazing to be in that room with all those people on the same mission. And just one last quote that someone said is, it's like, what is your fancy car, your house, your makeup, your clothes, all that material things, like, what is it worth to you if you don't have your health?
Drew? Drew, you want to go?
Yeah, I'll go. I just love NMD speeches. They're my absolute favorite, and I love the conversations and the bonding time with people after conference and during supper and at the parties, and the Canadian reception. The Canadian reception rocks because it's all the rest of the Canadians who are there, and you get to see everybody you recognized, and they're like, you made a shitload of money this summer. Congrats. Here's some more money. It's awesome. And they give you gift cards to the promotion store down there. It's cool. So my takeaway is, if you want to experience some of what we experienced and experience like the absolutely amazing sense of community, get yourselves to Edmonton next weekend.
Okay, Nicole? Yeah, oh, you need to, there you go.
So basically, I'm pretty sure that you guys have covered every one of my things. So thank you very much. But just as Jay Martin had said, of course, find a buddy, be a buddy. I think Mandy, you might have said that. I'm not sure. But our mission is being the best for the world. And I have that as one of the last things that I have wrote down from Jay Martin. And I think that's something that we have to always try and keep in the back of our mind. And yeah, I'm sorry, I had several, but I think most of them got covered.
How was it being there as a first timer? Like, was it how you expected it to be, or what was your takeaway that way?
Yeah, I love the energy, the community spirit, the inspiration, and everything that goes around along with conference, and to meet the people in person is, I think it puts a whole new sense of team and family to the to your business, to your Juice Plus family. So I think it's so important to attend a conference. Absolutely.
Yay! Okie dokie. I think that's pretty much time. We're 1 minute over. But yeah, so at conference, usually there's the big after party. That's all of everybody. We do the Canadian reception, and then usually there's a team synergy party. And then there is a little bit of extra time to walk around and kind of enjoy the city that you happen to be in. They generally try to get it in different cities. So it really is a cool, well-rounded experience. So yeah, definitely try and get yourself out there for the next one. And yeah, Edmonton next weekend. What you said? Yeah. Oh, weekend after the second and the third. Yeah, there we go. First weekend in November. So there's a regional up there. That's going to be our next big one, and they will have Prevention Pluses in Calgary and Camrose that go along with that. So thanks for coming on, everybody.